Hi there, Scorpio. We are doing a reading for the month of February 2026. I do apologize for not being here in January 2026. My laptop broke and then I became really ill, so I couldn't do any readings. Now, I'm committed to in the future doing readings consistently, maintaining that throughout the year. And if that looks like uh, being extremely organized and scheduled, then it looks like that. I'm not going to undermine that at all. Let's begin, Scorpio, because you've got a really interesting reading. A lot of it's about taking control, taking charge, moving forward with things. But it also states that right now at present, you're really, really happy. You're just dealing with some heartbreak, which is fine. That's like normal compared to what people go through. You have choices in your recent influences. So in the past, you had a lot of choices, job roles, relationships, people even. That's not a problem. Usually people do have those kind of choices and people do go through changes or shifts. But it says that you got out of there pretty well because a lot of it was like up in the air. You had no idea what was happening. Look, I'm looking at your happiness because that's pretty interesting for a Scorpio to be happy, but also dealing with heartbreak. It's not actually, because it's not absurd. I've seen Scorpios do that from time to time, but I just don't think it's healthy. Let's have a look at more clarification on what to do in that aspect. The key is just not to stress out and grow from the experience. Look, if you loved and lost, you've loved and lost. I always was not a big fan with that saying because I always thought, well, when you lose, shouldn't you fight back or shouldn't you not lose what it is that you've loved? And it's interesting because that was the younger me. But as you get older, you start realizing people just leave because people just leave. And often and not, if they are leaving your life, they probably weren't meant to be there in the first place. So when it comes to things, Scorpio, I think that you've done great to move forward with your choices. But remember, when it comes to illusions and delusions about an individual, I don't think the only thing that I think about Scorpios, which is your negative point, you have a lot of positive qualities, but pretty much the only negative quality that you have is that you put people up at a pedestal, and when they let you down, your whole world falls apart. That's nobody else's problem but yours. There's always going to be shady people. There's always going to be people who are not nice to you. There's always going to be people who don't have the best intentions. And so therefore, if that's the case, that's probably not for you to go by anyway. You shouldn't head towards that. You should really run away from that aspect if they're being shady, if they're doing things that are not nice. That's just my only tip for you. I love you and adore you, Scorpios, but you do tend to put people up on a pedestal. I don't think these people deserve it. To be frank, to be honest, just leave them be. Now, in the past influences, there was a lot of authority reasoning. There was a lot of putting yourself with integrity. You had high standards towards yourself, and there was a lot of strictness. I think you stopped going out for a year or two. You decided that, hey, I need to settle down. I need to save money. I need to do things. I need to think about my finances. So then there's a lot of things that you've done in the recent past, whether that's 2, 3 years, 4 years even. And I think it's really, really good. Now, your goals and what it is that you want to achieve is that you want to be more charming, you want to be more graceful, you want to be a diplomat, you want more education, you want more skills, you want more talent. You're talented as it is, Scorpio. I don't think you really need to do more than that. But your future outcome, if you keep doing this to yourself, because when I find that people who put themselves in such a high standard in the first place, it's just not realistic. The only people that I see can really pass off with high standards is an Aries and a Virgo, and maybe sometimes a Leo. When they put themselves in such a high standard, they can really live with that. An Aquarian can't. Now, an Aquarian has to be calm, cool, collected. A Pisces needs to be calm, cool, and collected. They don't really go by standards or morals. So when you're doing this to yourself, I'm seeing a lot of harm. And the cards are saying, don't be delusional or unconscious or confused about your situation, because that's what you're doing. Sometimes we do this. There's this saying that's like what's that saying? Me- Uh, the that kind of syndrome where you're the imposter syndrome, right? That's very much a Scorpio to its core, but I find that really interesting because Scorpios are really great at what they do. And there's really no kind of I'm faking it till I make it with Scorpions, if that makes sense. So I think you need to really just look into yourself a little bit more, have that kind of understanding that you're loved, you're respected, you're liked, and try not to have this high standard situation about you, because people, let's be honest, people in your life didn't choose you because you had great standards for yourself or anybody else. They chose you because you were authentic, you were integrous, you were charismatic, you're all the things that you want yourself to be, but there's this high standard that's coming out of nowhere. It's not it's not foreign, because I've seen Scorpios do that before. I've seen Scorpios um pretend to be somebody that they're not, just for the sake of um for status, for control, for looking good. And I think that that doesn't work in our society. It doesn't work right now. I think that for you to survive in this context, or survive in this reality that we're all living in, try not to do that to yourself. Try not to change yourself to fit in. I don't think it works for anyone when they do that. So Scorpio, do what you need to do, but also understand what you're doing might not be beneficial for you in the long run. It might actually tarnish you as opposed to make you feel better. There's a lot of negative feelings. There's a lot of regret because of the change, because of the momentum. I think that you thought you were really lucky in the past, like you were it, and you did really well, and in the past you were this great person. There's a lot of readings right now, all my readings, that a lot of star signs are thinking that they're wishful thinking in the past. They're wanting their past to come back, and I just don't think that's where it's at for most people. I think with individuals, when it comes to life, just move forward. You're gonna be fine. It doesn't matter how you were in the past. It doesn't matter what you did in the past. It is today, and if you're doing something that's a little bit interesting, then that's it. Like, always be there for yourself. Always know that you're the same person, but just a different version. A lot of movements coming towards you, and maybe your regrets are the movements that you had in the past. So try not to be too resentful in that. So family and friends, there's a lot of sneakiness and tricks and things like that. There's a lot of distance between you and your friends and your family. And it's because you're trying to be somebody that you're not. And I don't mind you doing that, because if there's any great actor, you might not think this, you might not know this about yourself, but if there's any great actress or actor, it's definitely a Scorpio, just for your benefit there, just for your understanding. Which definitely, when it comes to acting, a Scorpio can act really, really well. Let go of your friendships. Let go of the people that hurt you in the past. It's not like they're going to return. You're really committed in people returning and being the same. Just as like you, as you're trying to evolve, as you're trying to adapt, and you're trying to change in this environment, this situation, they are also trying to survive. They are also trying to adapt, and they're also trying to do the best that they can to survive in this context. There's really nothing that you can do to help others except to help yourself first. Be that change you want to see in the world, and you will see vast changes, and you will see people falling into line. I'm seeing also with hopes and ideas that you're wanting to be traditional, you're wanting to have more education, you're wanting to be more insightful for your friends and your family. You want to be there for them in a way that is going to help them out a little bit more. When it comes to helping out your friends and your family, like, I don't want to be too harsh and too mean, but you really do need to know your place. You really do need to know where you fit in with your friends and family. And if they're being mean to you, take that time to really self-reflect and evaluate, why would they be mean to you when you haven't really done anything? And I can say that you do stick up for people, you're there for people, but sometimes you let one situation slip, and that's the one situation that that person sticks with. And it's unfortunate, because you're like, wow, I saved you multiple times. I've done this for you. I've done that for you. Why are you like this to me? It's just unfortunate. Sometimes those things happen. So let's just have a look at more clarification with that. The key here is to grow and to let go of your pain when it comes to family and friends, and your idealisms about yourself, your hopes and your dreams. Let go of the situation. Just heal from it, grow from it, understand it. When you get all of this, and when all of this happens, and when all of this comes to fruition, you will be courageous. You will have that bravery stance. You will be that person you've always wanted to be. And you will be that person that others expect you to be as well. Scorpio, it's been a pleasure. I can sense that it's going to be a little bit of a rough month for you, but it doesn't have to be. It's all perception. Get out of your mind with regards to wanting to be somebody else, needing to be somebody else. You are perfect the way that you are. And if if your friends and family don't accept you for who you are, well, then really self-reflect and look at that. I would Look within and see what they're seeing, and then speak up. Apologize, do what it is that you need to do to have these people back in your life like they were. Until next time, bye.